Good morning, students. Today's topic is asynchronous data transfer. The two modes of data transfer are synchronous and asynchronous. The synchronous data transfer is, in the synchronous mode, the data transfers occur simultaneously during the occurrence of a clock pulse. The registers in the interface share a common clock. The registers share a common clock with the CPU register. So here this means the registers, all the registers that participate in the data transfer are synchronized with the same clock pulse. So when the clock pulse occurs, during the occurrence of a clock pulse, the sending and receiving takes place. The sender, the source register places the data on the data bus and the destination register receives it at the same time. So here there is no timing difference. All the registers are synchronized with the same clock pulse. So the data transfer occur at the same time. It occurs simultaneously. Data transfer occurs simultaneously during the occurrence of a clock pulse. So this is called synchronous data transfer. The next other data transfer is asynchronous data transfer. Here internal timing in each unit is independent. Every register, the registers as in synchronous data transfer, all the registers are not synchronized with the same clock pulse. So that the data transfer will not occur at the same time. In the internal timing in each unit is independent. Each unit uses its own private clock. There we have seen that in synchronous, in synchronous mode, registers use a common clock pulse. In asynchronous mode, the registers, each unit uses its own clock, private clock for internal registers. The registers are synchronized with its own clock, not a common clock, as they are not synchronized, as the registers that are involving in the transfer are not synchronized with the same clock pulse. When the clock pulse during the occurrence of their own internal independent clocks, the transfer occurs. So how to this has to be synchronized now. So in this asynchronous data transfer, the transfer between two independent units requires the transmission of control signals. In this asynchronous data transfer, to synchronize the sending and receiving of data, it requires the transmission of control signals to indicate the time at which data is being transmitted. So here there is a need for transmitting the control signals with the data. In this asynchronous mode, the data, not only the data is being sent, with the data, the control signals are also sent. These control signals are used to indicate the time at which data is being transmitted. Once the sender places the data, the receiver has to be indicated. The receiver has to be informed about the availability of data in the data bus so that the receiver can receive. As they are not working with the same clock pulse. So we need a control signal that informs the receiver that there is data in the data bus. And after receiving, when the receiver receives the data also, it has to be identified. So for this reason, we here asynchronous mode requires the transmission of control signals to indicate the time at which the data is being transmitted. One way of achieving this is by means of a strobe pulse. So here the one control signal used is the strobe signal applied by one of the units to indicate to the other unit when the transfer has to occur. So let's see what is this strobe pulse. The strobe is a control signal to indicate the time at which the data is being transmitted. In asynchronous mode, we need a control signal. So here we use strobe. This control signal indicates the time at which the data is being transmitted. So here the source unit, Okay, here we have a timing diagram. This timing diagram shows the relationship between the timing relationship between the control signals and the data. Okay, so here the diagram A, figure A here, the block diagram is given. The source unit and destination unit, in between we have two lines. Okay, one is the data line and the other one is the control line. The control used here is the strobe control. Okay, so here when the source unit has data to transfer, it places the data on the data bus. But as they are not synchronized, as the register that is in the source unit and that in the destination unit is not working with the same clock pulse, when the data is placed, this has to be indicated, right? The destination unit need to be informed about the availability of data in the data bus. So that is done by this strobe. Okay, so source unit, when there is data to be transmitted, it places the data on the data bus, and it also activates the strobe pulse. Okay, the source unit, after placing the data in the data bus, it activates the strobe signal. So the destination unit will understand that there is data. When the destination finds the strobe signal active, it understands that there is data in the data bus, that is to be received here. Okay, so the destination accept the data, and this transfer will occur, for a particular time. After that time, this strobe is deactivated and the data is also deactivated. And then source unit can place the next data on the data bus. Okay, this repeats for data transfer, until the transmission of the entire data is completed. So here you see the timing diagram here. This is the strobe can be initiated by the source unit or it can be initiated by the destination unit. Source unit initiate the strobe when the source unit wants to transfer data to destination. Okay, or if the transfer is initiated by the destination. Okay, destination requests the source to place data. Okay, so that we will see. And before that, here first the timing diagram figure B, shows the source initiated strobe. We have a data line. Okay, this data line that is initiated by the source, source unit. So here data unit places the data. When the data is placed, it goes from low to high. Okay, when the data line goes to high, high state, it means there is data. Okay, data line is active, so there is data. And when the data is steadily available, so the source unit also initiate the strobe signal. Okay, so after a period of time, there is a time gap here for the data to settle down. Once the data is placed on the bus, data need to settle down, and when it comes to the steady state, when the actual valid data is available, when it is confirmed, it activates the strobe signal. Okay, this is the control line. Strobe is the control line and this is the data line. Both are initiated by the source unit. Okay, when the data is available, the source unit also initiate this control line to inform the destination that there is data in the data bus. So when the destination here, finds the strobe signal active, here the strobe is active and it finds it is active, the destination understands that there is data to be read, to be accepted. So it accepts the data. This strobe and this data line, both these lines are in active state for a particular period of time. And then the source deactivates the strobe. Okay, it comes to 0. Okay, from high to low means deactivated. Strobe is deactivated and then the data line is deactivated, means the data is received. Okay, it is understood that the data is received by the destination unit. Okay, so now the source unit can send the next data, that need to be transmitted to the destination. Okay, this way the strobe control is used to indicate the time at which the data is being transmitted. This is source initiated strobe. Okay, here we have seen that this control, okay, strobe is initiated by the source unit. And in the next diagram, okay, here B at the right side, this is the destination initiated strobe. Okay, here let's assume that this is the central processing unit. And here this is a central processing unit, and here at the destination we have memory. CPU want to store some data in memory. Okay, so CPU places the data on the data bus and it activates the strobe signal. So the memory will understand when the strobe is active, memory understands that there is data, so it accepts the data. Okay, and after a period of time, okay, once it is accepted, the CPU will deactivate the strobe line, okay, strobe control, and the data is deactivated. And then it again sends the next data that is to be transmitted until the transfer completes. So here, this is the strobe, source initiated strobe. And here how the strobe can be initiated by the destination. When the destination, okay, when the memory initiates, here memory is the destination and here at the source we have CPU. So memory initiates the strobe signal. Okay, so here this is initiated by the destination and this is initiated by the source. Anyway, source is the unit that sends the data and destination is the unit that receives the data. So when the destination want to request source unit to place data, to send some data, it initiates the strobe. Okay, strobe control is initiated by the destination. So here memory initiates the strobe to request. The strobe is initiated to request the CPU to place the data on the data bus. So when the strobe is, so here strobe is given first, right? Okay, it is active before the data is available. Okay, it is initiated by the destination in the timing diagram. You can see this. Strobe is initiated by the destination when the destination wants to accept data. When the source see the strobe line active, okay, it places the data on the data bus. So valid data is placed on the data bus. After when the destination receives it, the destination deactivates the strobe control. Okay, and once it is deactivated, the source understands that it is received by the destination and here it deactivates the data line. So here this is an asynchronous transfer, okay, that is done between two units, okay, in asynchronous mode. And here there is the disadvantage here using the strobe controllers. The source unit that initiates the transfer has no way to understand, right? No way to know if the destination unit has actually received the data, correct? It is assumed that destination has received the data and it deactivates this line, data line. Okay, but there is no confirmation from the other side. The source is only the unit that is actively participating is the source unit. It is sending the data, but it is not receiving. The destination is not participating in this actively, okay, informing or acknowledging for the receival of data. The source is sending the data, right? There is no acknowledgement from the destination that it has received. Okay, after a particular time, it is assumed that the destination has received the data. Okay, so to overcome this problem, we have a method called handshaking. In this, there are two wires are used. Okay, here we have one control. Wires are the two controls we mean there. Okay, here we have one control, that is strobe. In this handshaking method, okay, two control lines are used. One control line is in the same direction as the data flow in the bus from the source to destination. It is used by the source unit to inform the destination unit whether there are valid data in the bus. Okay, when the data is placed in the bus by the source unit to inform the destination that there is valid data in the bus, okay, this line is used. It is in the same direction as the data flow. Okay, once the data is placed, because it is initiated by the source unit to indicate, okay, to the destination, to inform the destination unit whether there are valid data in the bus. And the second control line is in the other direction, okay, from the destination to the source. It is used by the destination unit to inform the source that the data is accepted. Once the data is accepted, to inform the source unit that the data is accepted, there is another additional control line used in this. Okay, so this is called handshaking. There is actively participation by both the units. The source unit places the data and it informs the destination that there is data. The destination receives the data and it informs the source that data is accepted. Okay, so there is a way here to confirm that the destination has received the data. Here the source unit, okay, as I said, there are two control lines. Okay, there is a data line that carries the data. Okay, the source unit places the data in the data bus. And we have two control lines, one in the direction from source to destination and the other from destination to source. And this data valid, okay, that is in this direction from source to destination, is used by the source unit, okay, to inform the destination that there is data in the bus. That is called data valid line. And data accepted line, that is in the other direction from destination to source, okay, this is for the destination to inform the source that the data is accepted. Okay, so there is clear communication between the source and destination. So this kind of transfer is handshaking. So if you see the timing diagram, the data is placed placed on the bus by the source unit, right? Here I think I can't write. Yeah, I have zoomed in, otherwise it is very small. Okay, so here this is the source initiated action, right? Data is placed on the data bus. And when there is valid data in the bus, once the data settle down, the source unit initiates the data valid signal. Okay, it is a control signal initiated by the source to inform the destination that there is active data, okay, valid data in the bus. So once the destination see this line active, data valid line active, the destination understands that there is valid data available in the data bus. So it has to accept. It accepts the data. Okay, destination accepts the data and it activates this data accepted signal. Okay, here if you see data accepted signal is activated. This is the destination initiated control, right? This is sent by the destination. The other two, data line and the data valid line, are initiated by source. Okay, here especially the control lines we are talking about. The data valid line is initiated by the source unit, and here once data is available, the destination receives it, accepts it, and it initiates this control, data accepted. Okay, so now once it is initiated, the source unit understands that the data is received at the other end, and it deactivates this. Okay, both these lines. Data is removed from the line data bus, and this is, okay, the signal is also deactivated. Now, and then this destination also deactivates its signal, data accepted. Okay, so once this data accepted signal is deactivated, means the transfer is completely done. Okay, transfer of this data from the source to destination is done. Okay, now the source can again means the destination is now ready to accept the next data. Now source can place the next data on the bus. Okay, so this way the transfer continues. Yeah, source unit places the data on the bus, and then it also initiates when the data is the data settle down in the line. It initiates the data valid signal. This is the control. As in this handshake method, we have learned that there are two control lines. One is data valid, okay, that is initiated by the source unit to inform the destination that the data is available. Okay, so here data valid, the source initiates this signal, okay, to inform the destination about the data availability. So destination now has to receive the data. It receives the data and it has to inform the source unit that it is done, accepted. Okay, so now this destination unit initiates this data accepted signal. Okay, it activates this, and when this is active means it is accepted. Okay, the source unit will deactivates its signals, data valid signal, and data is also removed, and destination deactivates the signal. So here the series of actions that happen are listed out. Here this is source unit, and here we have the destination unit, which is the first operation. First is placing the data, right? Source unit places the data on the data line. So place data on the bus and enable, source also enable the data valid. Okay, so data is placed on the bus and data valid signal is enabled. This is the first action. And once it is done, the destination accepts the data from the bus and it enables the data accepted signal. Okay, this is done by the destination. It accepts the data and enable the data accepted the signal. And the next action is, once it is accepted, the source unit disable the data valid and invalidate the data on the bus. Okay, so it disables this control line, and the invalidating data means as it is accepted, now the data bus need to be free, right, for placing the other data, next data. So invalidate data on the bus. And once it is done, now destination has to disable the data accepted. Okay, so it disables the data accepted signal. Okay, the fourth operation is the destination unit disables the data accepted signal. So now this means that it is ready to accept more data. Okay, means it come to the initial state. Okay, it is now as it was in the initial state. Okay, that destination is ready to accept data. So these are the sequence of events, okay, or sequence of operations that happens during this transfer. Okay, so once the destination is ready here, okay, it is a loop. Okay, the next data again, the source again places the data on the bus and enable data valid. Destination accept the data and enable data accepted, and source disable the data valid and invalidate the data on the bus, and destination disable the data accepted and come to it goes to the ready to accept data state, okay, to the initial state. And again the source places the data until the data transfer is completed. Okay, so here this is source initiated handshake. Okay, because the source wanted to send data to the destination. Okay, so data is placed on the data line and data valid is initiated. Okay, so this is this transfer, which is initiated by the source, is source initiated handshake. And if it is initiated by the destination, okay, here only a small difference is ready for data. Okay, the transfer is initiated by the destination. In the earlier one, source initiated, source wants the data to be transmitted to the destination, And in this, destination want the source to send data to it. Okay, so it has to be initiated by the destination in this case. So how this is done? Ready for data signal is activated by the destination unit. So when this signal is activated, source unit places the data on the data bus and it activates this data valid. Okay. Once this data valid is active, destination finds the data on the bus and it accepts. So here, yes. Okay, so here if you see the timing diagram, ready for data, it is activated first. This is done by the destination because this is destination initiated transfer. Okay, handshake. So the destination activates the signal ready for data. So when the source finds this signal activated, it places the data. Okay, this is a second action. The second action that is done is the source unit places the data on the bus. Okay, it places the data in the bus and enables this data valid signal. Okay, once the data is available, it enables the data valid signal to inform the destination that there is data. Okay, data is placed in the bus. So now when this signal is active, destination understands that there is data and it receives, it accepts the data. Okay, once the destination accepts the data, okay, once it is accepted, it deactivates, the destination deactivates this ready for data. Okay, means the data is accepted. So the source unit removes the data from the bus and it deactivates the data valid signal. Okay, these are the series of sequence of events happen. First operation is destination gives the signal to source. Okay, requesting for data means it informs to source that the destination is ready for taking data. Okay, so now the source unit places the data in the bus and it enables the data valid signal. So when the data valid signal is enabled, destination understand that there is data in the bus and it accepts the data and deactivates this ready for data. Okay, when it is deactivated means the destination has received. So the source unit now removes the data or deactivates the data line and it disable this data valid signal. Okay, then the operation completes. Okay, once this is disabled means the source can now send more data. So here are the sequence of events that occur during this transfer. The first operation, if you see this, okay, ready to accept data, destination initiate this event by activating the ready to accept data signal. Okay, so it enables ready for data signal. And once this is enabled, the source has to place the data on the bus. So source unit place the data on the bus and it enables the data valid signal. Okay, once the data valid signal is enabled, the destination accepts data from the bus and it disable ready for data. Okay, once the data is accepted, the data ready for data is disabled. Okay, here after accepting it disables this. Destination disables. Okay, so the source will understand that it is received. Okay, accepted. So now source has to disable the data valid and invalidate the data on the bus. So it comes to the initial stage. It takes this actions, take the source to the initial state, this unit to the initial state. So it can send more data. Okay, so this is destination initiated handshake. So in this handshaking, okay, when we compare to the other, we are learning about asynchronous data transfer, right? When the registers that participate in the data transfer are not synchronized with the same clock. this every unit, okay, that participate in transfer has work with independent clock. Okay, so we need control signals, and the control signal used may be a strobe control, or the other method is this handshake method. Okay, so here in this handshake method, the handshaking scheme provides a high degree of flexibility and reliability because the successful completion of data transfer relies on active participation by both the units. As the source unit, when it sends the data and it informs the destination that it is available, destination receives the data and it also participates in the transfer by informing the source that it is accepted. Okay, so in this method, okay, there is high degree of flexibility and reliability. Okay, data, it can be made sure that it is completed. Okay, the data is received at the other end. And if one unit is faulty, the transfer cannot be completed, right? So this kind of error is detected by timeout mechanism. Here, what is timeout? In some cases, if one unit is, okay, source is sending the data and destination has to receive and send back the signal to source. But if there is some error in the destination, okay, during accepting the data, there is some error. So this case, the destination will not complete the transfer by accepting the data, and it will not inform, okay, it will not send the signal, data accepted signal back. Source will have to wait, okay, for a long time. So how to detect this error? This kind of error can be detected by means of timeout. We need a timeout mechanism there. Okay, it cannot be kept, the source cannot be kept waiting for the signal. A particular time need to be given. If there is no signal coming from the other end, it has to be stopped, some interrupt. Okay, the process has to be interrupted, and the error no detection. What is the fault in the unit? Okay, source or destination. Here we are talking, in this case, if there is a fault in destination unit, what is the fault there and how to correct it? Okay, what the steps for correcting that error will be executed. So this timeout mechanism produces an alarm if the data transfer is not completed within a predetermined time. Particular time is assigned. And how it can be implemented? Some internal clock, some clock has to start counting when the transfer starts. A particular time is allotted for the events, and if there is no response from the other side, then after a particular time, it has to be stopped. So it produces an alarm if the data transfer is not completed. Okay, this is called timeout. Even though the transfer is not done, but the time is over. Okay, it cannot wait for more time. We have asynchronous serial transfer that we will discuss in the next class. If you have any doubts in this, what we discussed in asynchronous data transfer, you can ask me. Let me check the attendance.